guys, very quick impromptu video. Just literally picked up the camera. Sorry for the fact I got no mic. Just thought I'd show off how well this Malawi Cichlid aquarium is doing at my parents' house. These guys are Malawi Cichlids. They're from Lake Malawi and they're known as Chindongo Saulosi. And the males are that bright blue colour with the black barring and the females are yellow. And as looking at it, it looks like I've got a few females holding. You can tell by the shape of their mouth. So I'm just trying to, there you go. That female there, she's holding. You can kind of see there's a bit of a lump underneath her chin. Oh, this female's holding as well. So they go off their food for a little while, and if you get real close, you can actually see the babies inside the mouth of the mother, which is pretty cool. And actually in this tank, we do have some babies. Oops, sorry guys. There we go. Try and get a better image. There we are. There's a little baby just hiding out in the rockwork there, which is pretty cool. There's another one over here. I don't know where it is at the moment, but yeah, this tank overall is doing great. Fish, like I've said before, they're probably top 3 favourite species of fish. So colourful, so active, and I got 12 of these guys, and they were about this size, maybe 2 centimetres when I first put them in, and look at them now. They've all grown up. They're probably about something like 4 inches long, and they're not going to get any bigger than this. They're known as a dwarf Malawi cichlid. They're actually one of the smallest, and yeah, no, they're looking great. Oh, there's that baby. I knew he'd poke his head out. There he is. Ooh, just nip back in. The plants in here, like I said, these guys can be kept with plants. Admittedly, compared to the last video update, these plants have been in here now for 10 months, I want to say. Obviously, at the moment, they're not looking too good. And honestly, that's nothing to do with the fish. That's just the fact that I don't live here, so I had set it up just so that at night when my parents are in the kitchen, the light would turn on. So I think that's the main reason why these plants aren't looking too healthy. But even so, this tank is a stunning display. A little bit of a sort of, I wouldn't say aggression, sort of chasing from the males. Actually, if you look at the fish, they don't have any ripped fins, or very, very minimal ripped fins. Some aggression and chasing is normal for Malawis, especially when you've got males and females in the tank. But this sort of ratio of, I think there's 3 males, and one of them's not sort of fully coloured up in that blue colour, and 9 females. So it's worked out really well, actually. I just sort of got lucky that I've got a 1-to-3 ratio of males to females. And yeah, no, this tank's looking good. I do have some bristlenose plecos in here. Try and see them. Oh, there's that baby again. And if you look just underneath, you can see there a couple of bristlenose just hanging out upside down underneath this cave. And there's also one long fin albino, or albino, sorry, I'm not American, I'm English. One long fin albino bristlenose pleco in here. I always have an issue where I say albino, and I think it's from watching a lot of American fish keeping YouTube channels, and you know, they'll constantly say albino, and I start saying it, but actually here in the UK we call it albino. Just trying to look for where he is. Oh, there's there's one of the males. He's having a bit of a display at the camera. I don't think he's too happy with me hanging out in his territory. Oh, he's moved out of the way now. There's one of the larger bristlenose plecos. Oh, he's back. Oh, there's another baby there. So yeah, there's quite a fair few babies in here. And I think the rockwork and the plants just provide that bit of cover they need. There is an albino bristlenose pleco, and if I'm honest, I think it's down there underneath that filter. But yeah, no, this tank is looking good. Leave it a like if you've enjoyed this video. Leave a comment if you ever kept this fish, what you think, anything you do differently. The one thing I love about these guys is they really do follow your hand or wherever you go to in the aquarium. You know, if I come over here, watch them all swim over. And if I come over here, they'll all come over this way. And, you know, feeding these guys and caring for them is, you know, it's really great. It's a lot of fun. And yeah, if you've never kept this type of cichlid before, you've got a tank big enough, then yeah, I highly suggest these guys. Oh, there's that albino longfin bristlenose. You might remember this guy. I'm not sure if you saw him. He was in the Lake Tanganyika cichlid aquarium. So I moved him in here just because he was getting beaten up in there. And yeah, the cichlids leave the bristlenose alone. Bristlenose eat any leftover food and deal with a bit of a munch on algae. But yeah, no, this tank overall is looking really good. I love the contrast of the yellow, the blue from the fish, green from the plants, and the black background. Looks really good. And for those of you wondering, this tank is a Juwel Rio 180, so it's 180 litres. And I think, if I remember correctly, the tank is 1 metre long. So it's 1 metre long. I think it's 2 foot tall, maybe a bit more than 2 foot tall. And I'm going to go and take a bit of a guess at that being about 45 centimetres wide. So yeah, you wouldn't want to go keeping any larger Malawis in a tank of this size, but it just works out pretty well for these Chindongo Saulosi. Yeah, the filtration I've got on this tank is literally just the stock filter, internal filter, that is a bit grubby, that you get with these dual tanks. Yeah, it works really well. I've had to replace this pump once. Had this tank now for about 9 years. And yeah, no, it's going well. One thing I am thinking about actually now I'm making this video is I should probably look at replacing that heater, because that heater is also 9 years old. So I'll get around to doing that. And in terms of lighting, just opened up this lid here, apologies for the messy view. It's literally just T8. This is kind of the older model. I think nowadays this comes with an LED bar, which I'd actually much prefer. I do like my sort of LED lights, but this does the job, as you can see. I mean, I've added on this aluminium, I don't know what you call it, sort of aluminium background for the bulb, so the reflector, that's the word I'm looking for. So it reflects the light down, and these tanks actually have 2 of them, which is pretty cool. But yeah, no, it does the job, So for any of you guys out there wondering what the tank is and how it's running, that's how it's running. And yeah, the fish just get fed Malawi flakes. I like to feed Malawi flakes most of the time, just because it has a bit of a lower protein content and it kind of mimics more what they would eat in the wild. And yeah, as you can see, they're looking healthy. Okay, time to give these guys some food. Just going to give them a pinch of flake food. I'm actually just feeding them normal flake food for this feeding. I need to get some more of the Malawi specific cichlid flake food, but I figure it can't help just to change up their diet every now and then. I know it's got a bit of a higher protein content, but you know, I don't always just feed them this. I get I think it's by JBL, the brand I usually get, and there's also another one, a sort of Malawi pellet that I had. I think I might have shown you guys on a previous video. But yeah, if you're interested, you know, let me know in the comments, and I'm sure I can find out what I have been feeding them in the past. But yeah, no, they go crazy for a bit of food. This is kind of how I like to feed all my fish tanks, actually. I mean, I like to put the flake food down in the water and let it go. And that way the food just immediately disperses throughout the whole aquarium. I mean, it looks quite messy, but you know, it clears up. I mean, within a couple of minutes, I mean, already you can see now most of the food's gone. And anything that reaches the bottom, the catfish will go for. And yeah, that's how I like to feed my fish. I think it's quite unnatural for quite a lot of fish really to eat from the surface. You know, especially things like goldfish. I like to see them eating underwater personally, especially fancy goldfish and things like that. And there are certain fish as well that only eat the food when it's sort of sinking, and they won't eat it at the top, they won't eat it at the bottom. Obviously that's not an issue with these Malawis, but just a bit of a random side note as to why I like to feed my flake food like that rather than just letting it float on the top. Also, I guess if you let it float on the top, there's a good chance most of it's just going straight into the filter, which is just a complete waste of time. So yeah, by putting it in the water, at least the fish get a good chance to get to it.